Hey nerds, what's up? So, sometimes there's just those books that you keep saying you're going to get to and you just don't. Well, that's me. I think it's gotten a lot worse since I've gotten onto BookTube because I'm always doing a buddy read or a book exchange or something new's coming out and I need to review it right now to get on the trend or ride the wave of when it comes out. Or to vary my content, I better read this. And so sometimes these books that I've literally wanted to read for years just keep getting put off. And since I'm also a mood reader, that can really play into it. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about the top 5 series I want to start. And most of these will be very well known, and that's mostly why I want to start them. So without further ado, let's get into it. The number 1 series that I want to start. This is a book that I have been on my TBR for something like 7 years. So this predates BookTube. And it was a book my husband read and loved and told me to read. And then I got on BookTube and everyone said it was great. And I just kept meaning to and I never did. So this is the number 1 that I'm going to force myself to read next year no matter what. I have to make time for it. And that is the first book in the Gentleman Bastard series, The Lies of Lamora. Yeah, I've heard so much good about this, and everything I've heard makes it sound like it's something I will love. So again, it's just kind of one of those books that has kept getting pushed out. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, but it's not finished. 2 things to that. Number 1, most people say the first book works as a standalone. And maybe you can disabuse me of that notion, but I've heard that a lot. And in fact, I think my husband who loves this book has maybe only read the first one. Maybe he did read a couple others. Anyway, I've heard it works as a standalone for the most part. Second, are you new here? We know that things not being finished is just not a problem for me, so I'm really not worried about it at all. But yes, this book I am going to prioritize for this year for sure. The next one is a book in a series that I actually get asked about a lot because I read the first trilogy in this series before BookTube, so I've never covered it on my channel, which is Farseer. Yes, I have read Farseer, and everyone's been telling me I'm reaching too far over. I put my stack of books too far away. But I need to start Liveship Traders. Actually, Jake Bishop sent me this book because him and some other booktubers really wanted me to read it, and I was like, well, if I own it, I'm more likely to read it faster. So Jake sent this to me 2 years ago. So I'm a liar. It didn't help. I think with this one, I really liked the Farseer trilogy, and from everything I've heard, I'm probably going to like this one even more. I think it's just the size of it, guys. It's so big that I just get so intimidated. I think particularly because I know that Hobb's books aren't necessarily always page turners, and they can often be very melancholy. And not like those are problems. Like I said, I liked Farseer, and also not like big books are a problem. I can only think of Piranesi. Every other book that I'd probably listed my favorite is 500 pages or more. And not only that, but 2,000 pages into a series. But for some reason, starting a long book is always difficult. That's why I made a reel about it. So I think that's why I keep putting it off. I wanted to read this before Dragonsteel because Robin Hobb's going to be there. It didn't happen. What's today's date? It's November 17th when I'm filming this. It ain't happening, but I hope to get to it really soon. I've heard it's really good, and I heard one of the worst villains ever is in this trilogy, so I will get to it. Maybe next year. No promises. Okay, the next one's a little bit of a cheat because it's a series I want to continue, but most of the series I'm planning on continuing, it hasn't been that long since I read the first one. I know everyone's curious. For example, Dungeon Crawler Carl, I'm definitely going to keep going on. I think I'm going to read it after my current book club read so soon. But I just finished the first book a month and a half ago. It's not that far or a distance in my opinion, to wait a couple months between installments. This is a book series that I read the first 2, must be 4 or 5 years ago now. And I gave both of the first 2 books 4 stars, maybe one 4.5. I really enjoyed them. And I even bought the third one, and then I just kind of never got to it. Again, I'm too far away. And that is Earthsea by Ursula K. LeGuin. So the third one, The Farthest Shore. I really loved the first 2. And I want to read more LeGuin just because she's such a, famous and influential author in fantasy and sci-fi. So yeah, I don't know why I ever started. And again, like, this is short. This is probably like a few days read for me. And I just keep not picking it up. And now I'm a little worried I'm too far because I kind of forget a lot of the stuff that happened in the first 2 books. But I remember the first 2 books weren't like super related. So you guys let me know like how related book 3 is to the first 2. Like, do I need to know a lot of details or can I jump into this one? You let me know. But I just feel like I need to finish all 4 Earthsea. Like, they're very famous books and I need to complete them. Next up for number 4 is a very famous series. And I think, again, I could read them pretty quickly. A lot of my friends have my husband's read, if not all of them. He's read at least like 6 or 7 of them. And that is Cradle by Wight. We have like these special editions. I think they were a Kickstarter. Again, a book I could probably finish pretty quickly. Everyone's read Cradle, especially Sanderson fans. And obviously I am a Sanderson fan. I do think this is progression fantasy, which there are arguments on whether some stuff I've read is progression fantasy. I don't read, I think, in general, a ton of progression fantasy, but everyone I know loves them. I know they're fast, entertaining reads, and I just feel a little left out that I haven't read it. So hoping to get to that soon. I think I'm just gonna need to be in the right mood for a book that I know is just gonna fly and go quickly. So I know I should probably read Cradle. And then last but not least is more of an author I feel like I should read, which is McClellan. I particularly want to read the Powder Mage trilogy, though. This is another one for my husband. So my husband and I both read fantasy, and we have a lot of overlapping tastes, but we're definitely like a Venn diagram because he claims I just like books that are way too slow. He says I have no concept of what a fast-paced book is. And that's maybe true. I do like slow books. And he tends to like more fast-paced stuff. So we don't always overlap. But he got really into McClellan like years ago. I'm 8-9 years ago and wanted me to read Powder Mage, and I just never got around to it. Mostly, I think, because we own those books digitally. You'll notice that's the first book I'm not holding up because my husband prefers to read digital. And it's a big effort for me to read digital. I just don't like it. I don't like reading digitally. There's another series of McClellan's he'd rather me read, and I don't remember what it's called, but I'm interested in Powder Mage. So I feel like I should read him because he's a pretty, known author in fantasy, and I just don't like that I haven't read any of him. Okay, those are 5 series that I want to start. I'd love for you guys to vote in the comments which one, if I prioritized one of them, would you want me to do first because you're most interested in seeing content about it. So whatever comment you leave, I want you to vote on that in your comment, even if it's about something else. You could also just tell me which series you feel left out not having read and what you want to start, particularly as we're ending the year. We can make some goals in the new year that we may or may not keep if we're being honest. And as always, if you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe. That's the best way to support me. And if you want to see what I'm currently reading as well as other nerdy rants, you can check me out on Instagram at bookborn.reviews. I'll see you next time. Bye.